Good afternoon, and the big story making waves today centers around Nigeria's Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa, and his candid statements about the country's border security challenges. The minister has made it abundantly clear that Nigeria's porous borders are fueling the insecurity crisis that continues to affect communities across the nation. According to recent interviews he gave to the BBC, General Musa revealed that the federal government is now seriously exploring the possibility of building border walls combined with deploying advanced technology to stop terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers from moving freely in and out of Nigeria. Let me break down exactly what the minister said and why this matters to every single Nigerian. General Musa pointed out that Nigeria shares over 4,000 kilometers of land borders with 4 neighboring countries, which are Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin Republic. These massive stretches of border have become highways for criminal elements who exploit the lack of proper monitoring and physical barriers. The minister was very direct when he stated that porous borders are one of the main reasons for insecurity in Nigeria. He connected recent incidents like the mass abductions that happened in states such as Niger, Kebbi, and Kwara towards the end of last year to this border problem. He also mentioned the activities of the Lakurawa terrorist group, which fled back to Niger Republic after the United States carried out airstrikes in Sokoto on Christmas Day. What makes this announcement particularly significant is that the minister is not just identifying the problem but offering concrete solutions. He acknowledged that building physical walls across all 4,000 kilometers might not be completely feasible, but he emphasized that technology can fill the gaps. The plan involves using surveillance systems that can monitor border movements and trigger alarms whenever people cross illegally. Other countries with even longer borders have successfully implemented similar measures, and Nigeria is looking at learning from those examples. The minister specifically highlighted that the border with Niger Republic is the most dangerous and critical one that needs urgent attention, because that is where groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP continue to infiltrate into Nigeria from the Sahel region. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. General Musa suggested a decentralized approach to this massive project. Instead of waiting for the federal government to handle everything, he proposed that states along the border could start working on their own sections simultaneously. Imagine if each border state took responsibility for fencing and securing its portion of the international boundary. Before you know it, the entire border could be covered. This state-by-state strategy could speed up the process significantly and ensure that the most vulnerable areas get attention immediately, rather than waiting for one centralized project to roll out over many years. The defense minister also stressed something very important that often gets overlooked in security conversations, and that is community engagement. He emphasized that building walls and deploying technology alone will not solve the problem if the communities living along the borders are not actively involved. The government plans to create awareness and communicate with these border communities so they understand their role in stopping terrorists. After all, these communities see everything that happens in their areas. They know when strangers move through, when unusual activities occur, and when something does not feel right. If you are enjoying this breakdown and want to stay updated on important national issues like this, please hit that subscribe button because we bring you these crucial updates every day. But there is more to this story than just physical barriers. General Musa made it clear that Nigeria cannot tackle this security challenge alone. He mentioned that the government is extending its relationship with Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin Republic because these neighboring countries are now facing similar security threats. The minister acknowledged that Nigeria's security challenge is part of a larger regional and global phenomenon. He drew parallels with the fight against ISIS and ongoing crises in countries like Mozambique, Burkina Faso, and Mali. This means that effective border security will require cooperation and intelligence sharing between Nigeria and its neighbors, not just building walls that separate us from them. The minister also addressed another critical issue during his interviews. He firmly rejected claims that the Nigerian government pays ransoms to bandits and kidnappers. He stated that military operations focus on stopping killings regardless of who the victims or perpetrators are, emphasizing that Nigerians are being killed, and that is the bottom line. This statement directly addresses growing public concern about whether negotiating with criminals only emboldens them to carry out more attacks. General Musa made it clear that when the military corners kidnappers, many of them abandon their captives and flee, which shows that decisive action works better than paying ransoms. The timing of these statements is also worth noting. Just this week, the minister explained on television why no physical remains of terrorists were found after the recent operations in Sokoto. He revealed that the terrorists were neutralized using advanced weapons, including Tomahawk missiles provided through cooperation with the United States. And these weapons are so powerful that they often leave no visible traces. This demonstrates the level of international cooperation Nigeria is receiving in fighting terrorism, but it also highlights why securing the borders is so crucial, because even after successful operations, terrorists can simply retreat across the border and regroup. For the average Nigerian watching this unfold, the question on everyone's mind is whether this border wall project will actually happen, and whether it will make a real difference. The proposal sounds ambitious and necessary, but implementing it will require massive financial resources, political will, and sustained commitment over several years. There are legitimate concerns about funding, potential corruption in executing such a large project, and whether physical barriers can truly stop determined criminals who have shown they can adapt to various security measures. What is clear from General Musa's statements is that the government recognizes that the current situation is unsustainable. Communities continue to suffer attacks, people are being kidnapped, farmers cannot access their farms in many areas, and economic activities are being disrupted. The porous borders allow criminals to operate with a sense of impunity because they know they can escape across the border whenever security forces close in on them. Breaking this cycle requires a comprehensive approach that combines physical barriers where feasible, advanced surveillance technology, community cooperation, and regional collaboration with neighboring countries. As this story develops in the coming weeks and months, Nigerians will be watching closely to see if these proposals translate into actual action on the ground. Will budgets be allocated for border security infrastructure? Will states begin implementing the decentralized fencing strategy? Will we see increased cooperation with our neighbors? These are the questions that need answers. Make sure you like this video and share your thoughts in the comments about whether you think border walls are the right solution for Nigeria's security challenges, or if there are other approaches the government should prioritize. Your perspective matters because this affects all of us, and together we can keep the conversation going about building a safer Nigeria for everyone.